You've been lied to about money your entire life. And the people who lied to you, they didn't even know they were doing it. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, they passed down beliefs about wealth that were designed to keep you exactly where you are. Broke, struggling, trading time for money until you're too old to enjoy it. The wealthy play by completely different rules than everyone else. And those rules, they're not taught in schools. They're not discussed at dinner tables. They're passed down in boardrooms, in private clubs, in conversations you'll never be invited to unless you learn what I'm about to show you. Hidden money rules exposed. In the next 14 minutes, you're going to discover the 10 mental frameworks that separate billionaires from everyone else. This isn't motivation. This isn't inspiration. This is the uncomfortable truth about why you're still struggling while others build empires. Let's begin. Poverty programming. Before you were 7 years old, your brain was wide open, like a sponge absorbing everything around it. And during those critical years, you learned something dangerous about money. Maybe you heard your parents fighting about bills. Maybe you watched them stress every time a check arrived. Maybe someone said the words that echo in the minds of millions: money doesn't grow on trees. Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man. This ancient wisdom reveals a terrifying truth. Your relationship with money was programmed before you could even question it. Billionaires understand this at their core. They deliberately reprogram their financial beliefs as adults. They don't accept the money stories they inherited. They rewrite them. Warren Buffett's father was a stockbroker who went broke during the Great Depression. Instead of inheriting fear, Warren learned to see opportunity in crisis. That wasn't luck. That was intentional mental reprogramming. Delete old, install new. Your poverty programming is running in the background right now. And until you identify it, you'll keep getting the same results. But here's what the wealthy discovered that changes everything. Money is energy. You think money is paper, or numbers on a screen, or something physical you can hold. That's the first mistake. Billionaires understand something that sounds almost mystical but is backed by quantum physics. Money is energy. It flows towards certain frequencies and away from others. Everything in this universe vibrates at a specific frequency, including your thoughts about wealth. When you think about money with fear, stress, or desperation, you emit a frequency that repels it. When you think about money with gratitude, excitement, and certainty, you emit a frequency that attracts it. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This isn't woo-woo nonsense. Tesla, one of the greatest scientific minds in history, understood this principle, and so do the ultra-wealthy. They cultivate emotional states that magnetize opportunities. They surround themselves with abundance, not scarcity. Your thoughts create your frequency. Your frequency determines what flows toward you. But there's a specific technique the wealthy use that you've never been taught: the invisible gap. There's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. You can feel it. That distance between your current bank account and the life you dream about. Most people stare at this gap with frustration. They see it as a mountain too high to climb. But billionaires see something completely different. They see the gap as a bridge they're actively building. Every day they're laying another plank. Every decision moves them forward. While you're paralyzed by how far you have to go, they're focused entirely on the next step. Gap equals opportunity always. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in his garage. He didn't obsess over becoming the richest man in the world. He focused on selling books better than anyone else. Then the next thing. Then the next. The gap never intimidated him because he never looked at the whole gap at once. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The wealthy don't have more willpower than you. They have a different relationship with the gap. They find it exciting. They see it as a game to be won. And there's one mental trick that makes this possible: time perception. You trade hours for dollars. That's what you were taught to do. Get a job. Exchange your time for money. Be grateful for it. Slavery. That word is harsh. But billionaires would tell you that trading time for money is the modern version of exactly that. You're selling the only non-renewable resource you have, the hours of your life, for a fraction of what they are worth. The wealthy see time completely differently. They see it as a multiplier, not a currency. 1 hour of strategic thinking creates more value than 40 hours of labor. While you're busy being busy, they're thinking about leverage. How can one action produce 1,000 results? How can one system work while they sleep? Leverage time, multiply results. Elon Musk doesn't have more hours in his day than you do. He builds systems, hires people, creates assets that generate value around the clock. Never trade time for money. Trade value for money and automate the delivery. The question isn't how can I work more hours? The question is how can I make each hour worth more, exponentially more? But this requires a complete shift in how you think about problems. Problem obsession. You avoid problems, you run from them, you pray they go away. When something goes wrong in your life, you feel cursed, unlucky, victimized. Billionaires have the exact opposite reaction. They hunt for problems like predators hunt for prey, because they understand something fundamental about wealth creation. Every problem is a business opportunity. Every frustration is a gap in the market. Every complaint is a customer telling you what they'll pay for. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money you make. Think about it. Uber solved the problem of waiting for taxis in the rain. Airbnb solved the problem of expensive hotels. Amazon solved the problem of driving to stores. Your frustration becomes their fortune. Your problems become their profit. Don't find customers for your products. Find products for your customers. The wealthy aren't smarter than you. They just train themselves to see problems as gold mines instead of landmines. Problems equal profit potential. Start looking at your daily frustrations differently. What problems do you face that others face too? There's money hidden in those annoyances. But there's one thing that keeps most people from capitalizing on this: failure immunity. You're afraid of failure. It keeps you up at night. The thought of trying something and having it not work, it paralyzes you. So you stay safe. You stay small. You never take the shot. And you call it being realistic. Billionaires have developed what I call failure immunity. They've trained themselves to be completely unaffected by setbacks, not because they're tougher than you, but because they've reframed what failure actually means. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Edison didn't see those attempts as failures. He saw them as data. Each one brought him closer to the answer. That's the billionaire mindset. Failure is tuition. Failure is feedback. Failure is forward progress in disguise. Fail fast, learn faster. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, credits her success to one dinner table ritual. Every night, her father asked, "What have you failed at today?" If she had nothing to report, he was disappointed. He was training her to seek failure, not avoid it. Embrace. When you become immune to failure, you become unstoppable. But there's an even deeper secret about how the wealthy use their minds. Identity first. You're trying to do rich things while being a broke person, and that's why nothing works. You read the books. You set the goals. You make the vision boards. But deep down, your identity hasn't shifted. You still see yourself as someone who struggles with money. Your actions will always match your identity. This is neuroscience, not philosophy. Your brain will work overtime to make your external reality match your internal self-image. If you see yourself as broke, you'll subconsciously sabotage every opportunity to be wealthy. Billionaires know this. They became wealthy in their minds first. They decided who they were before their bank account reflected it. Act as if what you intend to manifest is already a reality. This isn't about fake confidence. It's about understanding that identity precedes behavior. Always. Be then, do then, have. Who would you need to become to have the wealth you desire? What would that person think? How would they act? What decisions would they make? Start being that person now, not when you have money. Now, because that's exactly what creates the money. But this identity shift reveals something even more important. Network secrets. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You've heard this before, but you haven't truly understood what it means. Your friends aren't just influencing your mood. They're programming your financial thermostat. Your income will match the average income of your closest circle. This isn't coincidence. It's a statistical pattern observed across thousands of studies. If everyone around you earns $50,000, your brain will accept that as normal, as the ceiling, as enough. Billionaires guard their networks like they guard their bank accounts. You cannot hang out with negative people and expect to live a positive life. They strategically place themselves around people who expand their thinking, who challenge their limits, who have already achieved what they are working toward. Network equals net worth. This doesn't mean abandoning your friends. It means adding new ones. Podcasts, books, masterminds, events. These are ways to bring wealthy minds into your circle. Who are you spending time with? What financial beliefs are you absorbing without realizing it? The answer determines your future. But there's one belief that overrides all of this. Money is infinite. You believe money is scarce, that there's only so much to go around, that if someone else gets rich, there's less for you. This is the most damaging belief you have about wealth. Wrong. Money is not a pie. It's not a fixed amount that gets divided. Money is created. Every single day, new value is created that generates new wealth. The economy isn't a zero-sum game. It's an ever-expanding universe of possibility. Your success takes nothing away from anyone else's opportunity. Billionaires operate from abundance mentality. They believe there's more than enough for everyone. This belief changes everything about how they approach business. An abundance mentality springs from internal security, not from external rankings, comparisons, opinions. Infinite wealth exists for everyone. When you believe money is scarce, you compete, you hoard, you fear other people's success. When you believe money is infinite, you collaborate, you give freely, you celebrate other people's wins. The universe responds to your beliefs. If you believe there's not enough, you'll find evidence of scarcity everywhere. If you believe there's more than enough, opportunities will appear that you never noticed before. And there's one final truth that ties everything together. Decision speed. You overthink everything. You analyze until you're paralyzed. You wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. And while you're waiting, opportunities pass you by. Billionaires make decisions fast and adjust course later. Speed of implementation beats perfection every single time. Napoleon Hill studied over 500 millionaires for his book Think and Grow Rich. He discovered that every single one of them made decisions quickly and changed them slowly. Poor people do the exact opposite. They decide slowly and change their minds constantly. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra action. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Every minute you spend overthinking is a minute you're not taking action. Every day you delay is compound interest working against you instead of for you. Decide now, adjust later. The wealthy understand that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. So the question becomes, what decision have you been putting off? What action have you been delaying? Your entire financial future depends on what you do in the next 24 hours. Everything I just shared with you comes down to one fundamental truth. Wealth is not an amount in your bank account. It is a state of mind. The billionaires didn't become wealthy and then change their thinking. They changed their thinking and then became wealthy. That's the order. That's the secret. Your poverty programming, your relationship with time, your fear of failure, your identity, your network, your beliefs about scarcity. These are the invisible chains keeping you exactly where you are. Mind first, money follows. But here's the beautiful truth. Every single one of these can be changed. Not in years, not in months, right now. The moment you decide to think differently is the moment your financial trajectory shifts. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. You now know what they know. You have the same information that billionaires operate on daily. The only question is, what will you do with it? Your mind is either programmed for wealth or poverty. Now you know how to reprogram it. If this video exposed something in you, subscribe. There's more to uncover. And share this with someone who's ready to hear the uncomfortable truth about money.